I kind of want
Match
to
day
like.
jumpy, boots on turf. Coys in
No,
the
I can't
cami, I'm
put the
putting in
ball
work.
there. I could.
Cool like
kind
smoke
of.
from the capo's perk. South
But
back
then
shell
it
and men a
falls
vibe to
into
berserk.
essentially
See through an 8, flats get waved. Locos, loco, they can't be tamed. Burgundy and blue run deep in veins. Rapids blood, it floods my brain. Roll cam early, the streets get live. Pre-game chaos, chance outside. During the game, it's war in the stands. Post-match scenes, pure mayhem, fam. Real with the vids, no cap, no filter. Mile high Hotspur, I'm that builder. Voice of the fans, I ain't no poser. Denver streets to the pitch is culture. Leo Coys, that's the name. South Bank lad, I rep that flame. C38, locos wave. Colorado Rapids, we don't play games. Subscribe, and lock it, never miss the vibe. It's the Mile High Hotspur. Rapids content raw is certified. Leo Coys.
Yo, my homies, welcome back to the Mile High Hotspur. My name is Leo Coys, and I'm joined by my homie Judgmental Jim. Joining us soon will be the driver of the Daddy Shuttle, the Homie Krash himself, and any other homies who are in the comments watching this either live or on playback. Big up to yourself, my homies. Before we get this episode going, I just want to say big up to the C38, the Centennial 38 for everything that they do, and big up to the Mile High Locals for putting on the environment that you guys see in the match day vlogs. So big up to everybody who's involved in putting on the vibes at the South Bank. And without further ado, let's get cracking, my homie Jays. How you doing, homie?
Good man. How are you? It's a Victory Monday, which is something we don't always have. So it's nice to celebrate it and join you on this stream today.
Yeah, bro, big up, homie, big up. It is a Victory Monday, but it, it's let me just backtrack a bit. It's like a double, even like a triple victory for me this weekend, bro. So my birthday was on Friday, had an
Nice.
excellent
Happy
day, you know what I
birthday.
mean? Yeah, appreciate that. Saturday was football, homie. I woke up, went and watched the Spurs. Spurs put it to Burnley. Had an excellent day Saturday, barbecued with the family at my mom's crib, went to the Dick afterwards, homie. And bro, if I'm honest with you, Jim, I told my wife, like, I'm even okay if I miss this match. Like, I wasn't feeling it, bro. Just like I said, I had a long day up until that point. And she was like, let's just go. Like, as soon as you get there, that shit of like, you'll get into it. And sure enough, my homies, right away, bro. You hear the drums going, you know what I mean? The flags waving. Like I walked in at such a perfect time, bro, to just catch them pregame vibes. And the Rapids they made it 2 victories on the day for me, Jays. And so yeah, bro, like the homie in the chat would say what's up to him, says advancing in and
Jared.
competing in the playoffs. Yeah, the homie Jared would be great. The bar of making the playoffs that we can and should get in. Big yourself up, Jared. It was nice seeing you, my homie. I did say what's up. Competing and advancing in playoffs would be nice. I think I just read that one, wasn't it? All right. And then he says stacking dubs. That's what it was, my
Stacking
homies. That's
dubs.
what it was. That's what it was. Stacking dubs. Let's bring the other homie on as well. Crash, how you doing, homie? My homie's muted. Bro, I'm sorry. I just like brought you on without even asking if you were good, bro. So I apologize for that, homie. But we will go. Yeah, we will get with Crash in a minute. You already know what it is. Jace, go ahead, my homie. Go ahead and start it off, bro. What's cracking with you?
Yeah, not much, not much. Going back to the game, like, yeah, I think it was a game that I was really into going to, mainly because of Cello's retirement. I think Cello's retirement was longtime Rapids fans like Jared can say that Cello's jersey retirement or any sort of ceremony for Marcelo Balboa has been long overdue. Maybe by 5 or 6 years, maybe more, probably more. But that's why I wanted to go. was just to be there for that, and then get a bobblehead too, obviously, which we the bobbleheads were chucking over the Dales bar to get back to our cars, so we don't have to carry them the entire time. That was fun.
Nice.
Shout out to Thomas. But yeah, the game was not a game that I was interested in more say than the actual day and the festivities behind the day. But the game ended up being a great one, and I know we'll talk about it more. But the vibes were really good. I was with Jared most of the time, and Jared can attest. We had many a beer and had many a good time. So um, a very positive game and a very positive win at home, I think. But we'll talk about it more. I'll save the details for later.
My homie
Uh,
Chris Agambar, big yourself up, my homie. Much love. The number one Agambar in the world, my homies. Yo,
nice, nice.
Crash,
You guys
what
got
a
me now?
lovely
Yeah,
Crash. I hear you, my homie. What a lovely surprise it was to run into you and your family, bro. I had my wife and my daughter with me as well. So first of all, I want to say big yourself up, bro. I can see you're back home now, back in your natural
Yep.
environment. So I hope that's
Yep. I'm
good.
back down in the basement. Yeah, no, it was great to see you and happy birthday to you, Leo, as well. I hope you had
Appreciate you, homie.
a fantastic time with the family. It was great to meet your kiddo and your wife as well. Like I said, it was we got the chance to get the whole family out last Saturday, which was fantastic. My Since I've been back, it's been full of youth soccer tournaments and PIDS games. So I can't complain too much. And For any of those who saw any of my tweets the other day, my under 10 girls team actually took home some silverware and won their division, which was
nice.
one of the coolest experiences I've had as an adult or as a coach. Just seeing those the light in those kids' eyes when they accomplish something that was to them the World Cup, which was pretty cool. So it was an exciting game. I was proud of them, and I got a little bit of I felt walked a little taller. The fact that I was able to get them over the finish line, but it was an exciting weekend all around.
Big up, bro. That's what's up. Big up to the team, Crash. Big up. Um, Yeah, no, look, let's just talk about the game a bit in itself. And of course, the glaring obvious, Jay's touched on it was Marcelo Balboa, right? It was a night where they were going to retire his jersey, if I'm not mistaken. And I thought it was a fitting just a fitting time, right? I want to say the whole jersey being green is kind of connected into the retro stuff, and I noticed the nets were green. The smoke on the in the South Bank was green. So
Mhm.
they really like took that idea and ran with it, and as a guy who's my team Tottenham doesn't really do much to honor the legends like that. So that the fact that I'm able to see that with the Rapids doing something like that, you know what I mean, was a dope touch. Um, as far as the game goes, I thought the Rapids played a good game. Crash. I mean, from start to finish, I haven't seen many games even at home where I could say the Rapids dominated. And I say that, not tiptoeing on eggshells, but I want to feel like we really were an impressive team that day. My homies, Crash,
Mhm.
what do you think, bro? I mean, was it
Yeah.
was
So
was this
for
was this opponent as tough as I thought they were going to be, or because I
No,
don't know much about Atlanta.
No, they weren't. Yeah, they. So I don't know if anybody else felt this, but historically, this season at least, we've played down to teams like this. So I went into this game expecting a loss, to be honest. Not because we couldn't win, just because we typically haven't won, or we do something to lose it late or to get the draw or something, right? And so I kind of had this feeling it was going to be one of those trap games where we should win this and we didn't. And you go in and we start off pretty well. We go up and then immediately concede. And that's when I was like, there it is. And so I had that feeling kind of going into the half. expecting what we have done in the past, and then was pleasantly surprised with the result coming out of the second half, because I think that really showed, really the underlying of what these Rapids can be or could be or are. And it was definitely an impressive second half. Like with all the tournaments and stuff I had this weekend with my daughter and others, I didn't expect to stay as late as I did, and I sure am happy that I got to stay till the end, because it was worth the wait.
Let's go. Jays, what about your thoughts on just how the Rapids, came off the blocks, got the goal somewhat early? What was it? Was it in the seventh? No, it was the
17th,
17th minute. It was the
and
17th minute.
that,
Yeah. I thought I saw
yeah.
that somewhere. Yeah.
The
I thought they
cool
said it's
figure
only.
of that 17th, and it was Balboa's 17 number that we retired.
Yeah,
So it was definitely a fitting
there's a
time to get that
connection.
goal for sure.
Yeah.
And it was 77. Because they were that's what I read about it, and seen that it was the 17th. Only fitting that it was number 77. I got it, um, bro. I'm sitting here jigging, doing the shuffle that we do, in the South Bank, and I'm recording people, bro. And then like when I turn around, it was just like shit. Just deflated, bro. They had scored a goal, just like that, and to be fair, after seeing it, it was a good shot from the Atlanta United player. But yeah, that goal kind of just it was just a gut punch right after taking an early lead, and for some reason, I feel like it just lights up even more when Yappy's the one to score, right? Kind of getting like that homegrown vibe, if you will, getting him, our star boy to score. Um, Jays, what do you think, bro? I was gonna say, just the Rapids growing into the game, keeping it solid, conceding, and then growing more into the game.
I'm more looking at it from an Atlanta perspective because um, I knew going into this game we had a very good chance, and it's because Atlanta is in absolute turmoil beyond belief. I don't know if you guys saw, it might have been today. Somebody left Atlanta, Williams, the Welsh defender or English or whatever he is, had gone to Reading. And so he posted, I'm here at Reading. And Zonde Silva, who's a former Atlanta player, or maybe an Atlanta player, said kind of some cryptic message among, like you left the gulag. So obviously issues in Atlanta, and head coach, the fuck is his name? Ronnie Dyla. Ronnie Dyla has come back, I believe, and has proven to not be very successful in Atlanta. Now, given that they have a GM who's battling cancer, a lot of other issues behind the scenes, but you look at the club and what they are and how much money they spent. On paper, they should be smoking us for nothing. But
Yeah.
knowing the situation that they were in going into this game, I had a lot of confidence that the Rapids are hungry. Once Mihailovic left, I feel like this team flipped into a different mindset of like, we got something to prove, FC. And so
Mhm.
um, I'm not surprised by this result. I'm very pleased by this result because it proves that this team actually has some bite and
Absolutely,
and can beat vulnerable teams such as Atlanta. And you would hope that, I believe it's the Galaxy next. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm probably
Yeah,
wrong.
it is.
I don't know who we're
No, it's the
playing. Okay,
Galaxy
the
away.
Galaxy.
Yeah.
You would hope that they go in there and potentially do the same thing. So I'm very pleased with this result. The game flow seemed very in favor of the Rapids most of the game, especially in the second half because the Rapids were pressing the hell out of Atlanta, and they didn't really have any time to really work it out of the back. Gregerson was struggling with Guzan to really work it out of the back, and so that posed a lot of danger for the Rapids, and so the Rapids took advantage of that. The penalty was it's a great drawn penalty, so like just good overall play in this game at home. Marcelo Balboa night, vibes were high, things are good. So
Yeah. No, definitely. I agree that. it's the game we should have played, and that we've been all along, and
It's a
for
game we
the
should have played. Yep.
and I think the key of that, like I think you mentioned it too, is um, you know, we kind of got a glimpse of it against Minnesota, where we're like, oh, we came to play, and we seem to have something to prove, and this was the game that they had to follow up. This was the post Georgie follow up game where we're believing that we have something, and if they would have, in true Rapids fashion, should have lost this game because of what they've done in the past. It would have been a loss because of whatever reason, but they didn't. They showed that grit, determination, and they fought for it and dominated most of the game. Outside of really that, even that one goal was just a slight lapse of judgment and a great finish. It just put it in the right spot. So, end of the day, I was really pleased with what we saw, because it's showing, even without our best player in historical context, it's kind of showed maybe he wasn't our best player, but more of our biggest problem.
I wouldn't say problem. I would say a one-dimensional feature of the roster that holds certain aspects back. But
Right.
to say that he's a problem is maybe a little too much. I don't know what he was like in the locker room.
Right. Yeah,
That
that's an assumption for sure. Yeah.
that would ultimately, and body language at times suggested he wasn't happy. Body
Absolutely.
language in games, not even behind the scenes. And so I just, yeah, it's you're seeing a page turned, and you see that page turned pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Um, and credit for Armis to keeping them locked in, because that's hard to do.
Yeah.
Having a star player leave like that and then on the bounce get 2 wins.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
agree. You know what I liked about the game, my homies, was also Armis's management. Brought on the right substitutions, because I thought when the homie Cudi Pretro came on, um, things changed. And that's when Hoffa got that ball out wide, cut in, and won that penalty, right? Was a very well placed through ball
Mhm.
from Cudi Petro, who for me has been getting um taking advantage of his opportunities. And I say that because for me he's been really relevant. And I thought, for Armis to be able to look, for me, he's gotten it wrong a lot of times, right? A lot of times he's either not even done anything, waited too late, or a little too much, a little too late, however the saying goes. I thought this one he actually did it. He nailed it on, and it worked out, my homies. I thought we didn't take our foot off the gas. In fact, when we dealt with a little bit of adversary, we went into the halftime like, granted, it wasn't an eventful game, my homies, the first half, but the second half, we've seen this play out many times where, we come out and we don't have the energy, and these players or these teams get a goal up on us, and we end up shooting ourselves in the foot, right? And we're having to chase the game. This game was different from that, my homies. I felt like we just were on it fighting, and it has to do with, I really believe, the locker room just coming together.
Mhm.
And I feel that has to do with what the message that Armis is trying to relay to these players. You know what I mean? He's always said, stay ready to be ready, right? Or be ready to stay ready. And this is a perfect example of that. Nobody expected Georgie to want to dip like the way it happened. I'm sure
Mhm.
even when that happened, we didn't know he was going to go as fast as he went. And all these players, I mentioned a couple of streams ago, if I'm one of these players, I'm licking my chops at the opportunity. I'm licking my chops at the opportunity of maybe winning the free kick duties, right? Winning
Mhm.
we know Hoffa now is probably our go-to penalty taker, but there's so much one-dimensional that we were focusing with
Well,
Georgie
and all
that
the
now I feel
wasted
like,
Cabral minutes.
Yeah,
what was that?
exactly.
With all the wasted Cabral minutes too.
Well, yeah, you know what I mean. But that's what I'm saying. I feel like this game he got it right, my homies. You know what I mean?
Correct, correct.
He has to. I was even telling the homie Greg, like, even with the change of formation, my homies, the second game in a row, we see however you want to say it, a back five, a back three. You know what I mean? That was a change.
Mhm.
That's Armis either on with his backs against the ropes, having to make a change, or already thinking like, you know what? In my opinion, my homies, I think this formation suits our players and our squad to a T. You know what I mean? So it's about time we got to this formation, my homies.
Yeah, no, I
Yeah.
agree, and I think the credit to Armis for there was a lot of people or at least a few loud minority that were frustrated with him and kind of saying we should move on and different things. He definitely put us in a position a couple times where we were questioning whether he comes back or not. But I think this
Mm,
transition, it shows that he knows what his players are best suited at, and you can see he's been tinkering the whole season trying to get the best out of them with the pieces that he has, and I think this just shows
I agree.
he found the right formation for the right players, and I think it suits most of them. Right, you've got Vines, who has been having some of his best play because he's playing what he's more natural at wingback.
Absolutely.
He's not stuck in that left back position where he's more defensive. He's more a forward player than he is defending. So, I'm excited to see maybe him finally get into a better role. But and then not without having a real natural 10. I think it gives an opportunity for Cole and Ollie to really play positions that suit them, and without having to be that playmaker at the same time. And then you just got to give it credit to Navajo. We've seen the
Absolutely.
best game, or not games season, um, that I could have ever expected from Hoffa. I think I mean, he just got player of the match day, so which is I'm very happy that they didn't give it away to somebody else, because Hoffa it has to be one of the best all around strikers in the MLS that doesn't get spoken about. And I think
Mm,
he's finally stepping into that role where he's able to see, get some accolades for that, because he's been up there multiple times and we don't talk about him. Like, you don't see him in the, this is MLS or in the countdown. They just skip right over the Rapids. And I'm happy to see Navajo finally get a little more recognition, because he is a solid striker across the board, an all around player. He's by far our best player. Some of the stuff he was doing with the ball on Saturday was just fun to watch. Fun to watch.
mm. You know, Hoffa made a very good go at that ball that he dinked on to Yappy, right? To be fair, Yappy had an excellent finish, like reaction finish for his goal as well. But Hoffa just I mean, coming back to head that ball into play. I mean, how many times have we seen Hoffa, just come back to try and build up play, gets that long ball over and dinks it over to someone on the overlapping run. So showing massive qualities, bro. All season long he's been. Just want to say what up to Juaners. Big yourself up, my homies. He says he just finished wrapping up his MLS podcast. Sorry that he missed this. Yo, he says his biggest takeaway is less with the Pids and more so the rest of the league going exactly the Rapids way. The biggest momentum boost of the season. And this is actually facts, bro. The homie and I were looking at this like mid-game, and
Mm-hmm.
everything went our way. Another That's a quadruple bang on the cherry for the ice cream cake, my homie. Everything just went the way it had to go.
And really, the past 2 weeks too. Like, the past two
Yeah.
weekends have really gone the way that we needed to, which is helping us give that a little bit pad. So I was watching that San Jose game, just hoping, and it even broke the way we needed to. So I'm gives it a little bit of hope.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Um, Crash, I can't really attest too much to seeing the goal live, the one that Atlanta scored on us. But
Mhm.
do you read into any of it? Was it like the Rapids just lapsed the judgment real quick? Was it just a good
It
counterattack from Atlanta, or what would have happened there?
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of both of that, right? It was, they just scored, they came back. Atlanta just got the ball in a dangerous spot. We're a little out of position and didn't cover what we needed to. I mean, I saw it after the goal was scored. Noah, it looked like he was talking to Cannon and kind of taking, ownership of the mistake there. I don't think he really was the problem. I saw Murphy kind of make a mistake or didn't, step out or whatever. But in reality, it was just a great strike. I mean, he was outside of the box, found a spot, and put it in the far left corner. Just through everybody and past Stefan. So I mean, that's a goal that it would be really tough for Stefan to even get to. You expect one of our center backs to get to it, but maybe maybe Ollie could have stepped out and kind of put some more pressure on him quickly. But there's so much things going on at that moment. You could nitpick it all day long, but it was just one of those goals that just made it through.
So I don't mean to change subjects, but I've been wanting to ask the homies and chat and if, I mean, I guess anybody for that matter now. Have we heard Chris Armis's Evergreen Army anywhere? Because if not, we're gonna don that right now, homie. When we rock these kits, we're Chris Armis's Evergreen Army, my homies.
There you go. Like it.
Yeah. I was like, yo, I hope that's not the Portland Timbers. So I even looked it up, and it's not. So we could definitely be the Evergreen Army, my homies. Sorry, I was gonna go with something, but I totally had to say that. Jays, what is your thought on our back three, my homie? The way Cobb has slotted in, is it Murphy and Maxu? What do you think of the three amigos, my homie?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of back three. I think to have a back five kind of gives you that kind of that hybrid system to be able to play attacking, but also play defensive when you need to. Finds and Cannon are really good suited in those roles, so it seems to dynamically work. I haven't seen enough of it to really give a full judgment on it over time, but it seems to be working, and so you hope Holding could slot in there and be just as reliable. I'm kind of curious how that dynamic changes once you put him in, and also with the advent of Rafael Santos as well. So he's not a right wing back, but I feel like he's doing probably better than Rosenberry would as far as the pace and the
No, I would
RIP
agree with that.
Rosenberry.
Yeah. I think you're right there. I think the interesting conversation is who do we think falls out of that back three once Holding is available? And I think at this point it's actually going to be Murphy.
Yeah.
Cobb is really showing some solid play. He's young, brand new to the team, but jumped straight in and playing really well. And I think you see Holding slide in there. Murphy goes to the bench. And we're still trying to get as many minutes on Cobb on his loan as we possibly can, but I would not be surprised if they pick up that option come next season.
Yeah, I agree. I like the way our formation is set up, bro, because I like that we're still taking the risk in doing the attacking front three. You know what I mean? With whatever two wingers he puts on either side and Hoffa in the middle. I think it's still a good, like you said, balanced and still an attacking formation where you think that puts a lot of pressure on our double pivots, Crash? For whether if that's Ollie and Cole Bassett to, having the back three is a lot better, right? Because you're not having to do as much defensive work as a six, if I'm not mistaken, and then kind of allows you to be more flexible going forward.
Yeah, I mean, if you watch the game, they still pop back there because you would see Murphy and Vine, like even Cobb sometimes step forward, and so they were in the double pivot. They've been able to really kind of get back and cover those zones as defenders take space, but I think it does help them. I mean, Cole and Ollie were able to really play in positions I feel they're more suited for. And really command the middle of the field, which is what they need to do. I think it really has just opened up the the opportunities for the rest of the team to play in their best positions. And I think that's, I'm looking at the ratings here, and you've got Cannon and Murphy, who are probably your lowest rated defenders because they both got yellow cards. Murphy got subbed out at 60 minutes. So he's not going to be able to make up for that. So not bad play, but our lowest rated player was Stefan.
Yeah.
And that was just because of that one goal. And I think he didn't have any opportunity to really touch the ball most of the game. Right. And so, how do you fault that for, you can't, if you don't touch the ball, you're not going to have a relatively high rating because you just let the one go in. So I was actually pretty amazed by kind of how it looked at the end of the day. Yeah, so I think everybody's playing where they need to be.
Staying right there in the middle with that green, you know what I mean? Seems there. Cole Bassett was on it as well. Jim, would you have any glaring takeaways, bro, from this game? Either both positive or negative?
Darren Yappy consistency, positive.
Good shout.
Yeah, I think
Huge.
we're starting to
That's
see
huge.
more consistent performances, which is what you want out of a young player who maybe last year got a little bit of shit or 2 years ago or whenever the fuck it was, um, for not being consistent. So yeah, Darren Yappy consistency performances I think are my biggest takeaway, and then obviously Rafa continuing to work hard for the team.
Nice, man.
What you've got,
You know what I like about
Yappy with seven. Yappy's got 7 goals and 2 assists on the year. I mean, he's our. I guess you take out Georgie now. He's our second leading scorer on the team right now, which is what you want from your secondary striker for sure.
And too, one thing that I think is pretty glaring with Yappy is he's a bigger kid. You know what I mean? Like he's a pretty big specimen, and he's now, I think, figuring out how to use that in his favor. I know the homie Greg and I mentioned this when we were chatting it up. Like he's with that seat time that he's definitely getting more rhythm. And like I said, I feel he's learning how to get his body in those right places and just using it to his advantage to score goals. Um, let's see here. You see, even Greg, big up Greg in the chat saying, agree on Yappy. We're seeing him put it together in real time. Yeah, like I said, that's why I feel like even when he scores and he's on it, the Dix really lights up because of the player that Yappy is for us.
Yeah, you look at Yappy too. I mean, 7 goals and 2 assists. I mean, Georgie only had 9 goals. With on the season. I think he hasn't scored anything with Toronto yet. So I think these are all accurate. So 9 goals and I think 5 assists total. So, I mean, Yappy's almost at Georgie territory at this point, which is pretty amazing.
I just think any young player with above 5 goals is good.
Yeah,
That's kind of how I look at it. Some have their other ways of looking at it, but I think that if you have more than 5 goals and you're in your teens still, like you're doing, it's an upward trajectory, for sure.
He was always a guy you could allow a long rope for, and now he's coming good. It's such a good step in his development. I agree.
Well, and I think
agree.
too, the credit that you got to look in his development is think what Armas has done with him and his confidence to come from finally getting his first goal to like rocket ship territory, and I think looking at a lot of the young team, I mean, you got to maybe like take Sam out of that mix because I think he's the only one on the team that we've really not seen come to their best, and maybe Cole this season, but maybe it might be something else. But being able to really develop those young players. I mean, Ollie coming from R2 to a consistent starter this year. I mean, you can't knock that by any means. Yappy, same thing, where he was our only striker 2 seasons ago because we didn't have anything else, and now he's a guaranteed player, either a starter or backup at 60 minutes if we needed it. And so
Yeah.
he's definitely a game changer at this point, which I'm excited by. I was always kind of like, we need that player that can change a game in the 60th minute if we need to. And Hoffa can play 90, but what if he didn't? I'm actually relatively comfortable with Yappy at the moment. We just would need that quality. I think Hoffa has been creating the opportunities, which I think is good. So I would love to see one or two other players on the team really help create the way that Hoffa has been creating. And if we can get that, we could be a really, really solid playoff team.
Mm. Yeah, the only Jim, what do you think of Cudi Petro's involvement with the team? And I kind of felt like I said earlier, I think he came on like in the 59th minute, and then from there, I kind of want to say, our creativity, he adds a little bit something to that. How good is it for Armis, and not just Armis, but for us, the Rapids to have, a bit of depth, bro? Because like I said, his management and in-game management hasn't been the best, and now being able to bring a player like him on. We've seen who's Alex Harris as well get some minutes, and then we've seen the debut for the young kid as well get some, just get some experience minutes. But just thoughts on Cudi Petro and his involvement, Jays.
Yeah, well, obviously he came injured to start the year, so it took him a little time, but just kind of based off the eye test, like he has a really good driving play, and so
Mhm.
maybe that's something that the Rapids have lacked over the last few seasons. It's just that driving player. So like you asked, who could be that guy who could create like Rafa Cudi Pietro could definitely be that guy.
Oh yeah.
Like if I just notice he has a lot of skill, he has a lot of pace. Um, and like you said, he adds depth to that position, regardless of if he's starting or if he's coming off the bench. But I think coming off the bench, he adds a lot of energy, which is maybe something we've lacked. So
Yeah, absolutely.
that would be my takeaway this game is maybe just it's a nice deployment of energy and speed and drive.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it was the Minnesota game, and I think it was the one goal Maxu almost got, but that back heel kind of pass from Ku to get it to Maxu, and I think Hoffa was like, "What the heck?" I was going to take it, but I mean that just shows some of the creativity that Teddy's got, and I was really impressed with some of that as well. And I agree. I think he has a good potential to get there, and especially if he's kind of used to that late game sub, coming from DC, and kind of that's what his role has typically been, and I think he's comfortable with that. I think the times he has started, we've had to do that because we haven't really had much option. I think his development, I think doing what he's doing right now with that 60-minute sub to just change some pace and add some energy to it really has been beneficial for him. And I think, even as we start getting some more players in, hopefully we get Alexis in soon, because from everything I've heard of him, he's got the pace of Calvin, but the 1v1, like I'm gonna go at you at that Q has. So he's like a good hybrid of the two of
Mm.
them. So he could be a really interesting
Michael Barrios.
player. Yeah, there you go. It'll be
Yo, my
exciting.
homies, I got the what would it be, the average player position here on screen, and it looks like we kind of overloaded would be our left side of the attack there, with Ian Murphy playing very up there with Vines. So it almost looks like, and then another thing that the homie Greg mentioned is that we almost look like we're playing different. Obviously there's going to be different formations when you're in possession and in defense. I noticed a lot of a flat back five at times when we were defending. And for me, that just screams like very drilled, you know what I mean? Drilled in, focused on the game plan. Um, and here you see Murphy very wide out there on the left with Vines there. And then you see that triangle there of Hoffa, Bassett, and Yappy. Uh, I guess just trying to create stuff. Um, where are we at in the table right now, my homies?
I believe
Let me try to pull
seventh.
it up. Seventh.
Yeah,
I
seventh.
think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Season's winding down, my homies. I was
Yep.
telling my wife there's only a couple more home games.
Hmm. Yeah,
Only a couple more home games.
we've got a few winnable games that we need to get the result in, and then we've got a few challenging ones left with Minnesota at home, LAFC at home, and Salt Lake's always going to be a challenging game, right? So especially being away. Um, it'll be interesting. I thought I saw there was a tweet kind of looking at the predicted outcomes for the rest of the season, based on kind of where things are, like max points and expected, and kind of where everyone's at is now. And
Yeah.
they kind of had the Rapids just below Austin, at the eight seed there. But I could see us really. I mean, it really is just going to be dependent on how the teams shake out. Does Portland, you know, do they start climbing back up, or I can't see Austin and San Jose with the schedule they have left really making a push for a higher seed. So it'll be interesting to really see how the table shakes out. But all the Pids have to do is keep winning, and and then
Bro,
let the chips fall where they may.
San Diego up there for that supporter shield, man. Um, yeah, I'm gonna end the poll from the YouTube stream. Will the Evergreen Army make the playoffs? 12 of you filthy animals voted. 42% said yes.
Ooh.
58% said it's gonna be tough, but we got this. I'm happy to
Oh.
say there was nobody that said no. Nobody that said no. So at least 12 of us are still keeping faith, and it's looking good for us, my homies. I'm not gonna make it more dramatic, you know what I mean? Like we're getting shit's working for us on the side and we're picking up points. Our next game, like we kind of mentioned earlier, is against LA Galaxy, which I mean on paper seems like a doable game, my homies.
Yeah,
It's on the road in LA.
Yeah, on the
yeah,
road in
it'll be
LA.
interesting.
We
I
know what
mean, we
happens
got
anytime we go there.
hey, when we went there with Cruz Azul, we at least got a good result.
That's
If we
true.
can keep playing that way
The only
against
time we do well
Galaxy,
there is against Mexican teams. It sucks.
exactly, yeah,
Sucks.
that's the key. So maybe we just need to visualize a different jersey on them or something, because
Yeah,
uh,
Galacticos.
yeah, there we go. Yeah, I have to say though, there is a potential, and I think there's a wild card to this game that may play into our favor that I don't want to put too much stock into, but the Galaxy have nothing to play for the season. They have everything to play for in Leagues Cup.
Mm,
So
So they might
they play a
rest.
midweek. They play a midweek game tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. If they win that game, they're going to play another midweek game after us. So that game might benefit us. So I'm personally rooting for LA to win that game against who the what team is it? Oh dang
It's
it!
not
What
Puebla,
is
is
it?
it?
Not Puebla. It's the other P.
Chuka?
Pachuca.
Pachuca. Thank you. Yes, they play
Okay.
Pachuca. So a good quality team, right? It's a team that'll make a run, and that's not going to be a pushover by any means. So that's the key. Even if they don't, they're still going to have a midweek game. They're going to have the potential of some tired legs,
Right.
and it'd be interesting to see kind of how they play that game, or how it kind of runs out. So either way, it benefits us, but we need to play our best. I think that's the key.
I agree. Replicate Minnesota.
Big up. He says, "Good insight. Absolutely, shapes up for us to get a rotated Galaxy squad. Makes tons of sense, my homie.
I would hope so.
Sense. Yeah, yeah. Crash. I guess we just to kind of start winding down, my homie. I mean, I asked the homie. Did I ask you if you had any glaring positives or negative takeaways?
Positive is just the fact that the team is showing up. They look like they're having fun. They look like they're,
Yeah.
they're out there putting in their best performances. They're even in mistakes, they are able to rebound from them, and I think that's the key that we want to see. We want to see a team that's not worried about those little mistakes, that
Right.
can play the ball that they know that they can play, and that feel confident in that. And I think there was a confidence we lacked earlier in the season. Things got nervy and you got nervous and we were worried. And I think now you're not seeing that concern as much. Even when we were down, I felt that, but I don't think I saw it on the team out there. They just kept playing and they owned their mistake and went forward, and they weren't on the back foot. They weren't trying to push or play a different game. They were just, let's just keep playing the same game we've been playing. And they came out the second half, maybe made a few adjustments, and you saw the result. So I think they're playing their best game of the season. I mean, Hoffa's in the best form I've ever seen him. It
Absolutely.
worries. I mean, the benefit is the window closes in 2 days, basically. So I doubt we see any movement there with him. But there's a good chance somebody's going to offer money that we can't refuse on him, and that's a real possibility, because he is, whatever you want to look at, he is that good. I wouldn't be surprised if somebody comes around with a $10 million offer, and that's the number that we say yes to. And I would hate to see him go. But for me, this isn't a Georgie situation. This is, we were able to get a player in the best form and capitalize on it. And I will say goodbye to him and look for KSC to hopefully turn around that money with some other good options. But I'm really hoping not. I would love to see him finish out the season. So I think
Yeah,
that's
I
Hopefully they're
agree, man.
smart and they sell him, but then they move him on in January.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. If we could just keep him till the end of the season and then make that money
15
back, I
million.
think that would do great. Oh yeah, I
15
mean,
million Fluminense.
yeah. I mean, think about it. They were already often offering 7 for him, and that could have been an easy number to say yes to. I
And they're
think
buying
KSC was
everybody in
smart.
MLS too.
Yeah,
Bro,
and I think they were
he
smart.
he wouldn't even have to go that far. There's Mexican teams with enough money. You know what I mean? You talk about like
Yeah,
Monterrey, a Cruz Azul, a bigger team like that can have the money and offer,
yeah.
you know,
But I
probably
think the
some more
benefit
cash.
is
But
Hoffa likes it. I think
I
I
agree.
mean I think Hoffa really is enjoying his. I think he enjoys this team. I think he enjoys the atmosphere. I think he's just having fun and enjoying that, and so maybe he wants to stay, and that's a big
Yeah.
factor in it. I'm gonna hope that, at least for the next 3 days until midnight on the 21st or wherever time it is. So
No, Crash. That's valid, bro. I mean, from what we see of Hoffa and the way he just interacts, you know what I mean? Like you get the sense and the vibe that like he's happy here.
yeah.
He's definitely happy here. It seems like. Yo, Jim, what about you, my homie? Do you have anything that you would like to wrap up off on, or anything that maybe we didn't even talk about, homie, or something that you wanted to talk about? Because I know like there's really no structure to the show, my homie. We kind of just go about it
No,
however.
no, nothing really. Just hoping we can keep these performances going and keep the good positive vibes. I definitely have a confidence in this team that I didn't have before. So, who knows? The sky's the limit. I am making my soccer playing debut next week. Uh,
Let's go.
for for the C38 team in some kind of fundraiser. I'm sorry to the fundraiser that I don't know what the fundraiser is, but I am making my debut. The plan is to play like a left back and just kind of not get involved much.
There
Um,
you go. Hey, you're out
just
on the
try
pitch.
and
That's all that matters.
Yo,
yeah, just try and run and
you better hope
yell,
they
and
don't
that's pretty much just run and yell commands. So that's the plan.
There you go.
But I'm excited, and it's for a good cause, from what I'm told. So all
That's
is well
awesome,
Yeah.
man.
there. But that's about all that's going on in the JJ sphere for now. So
Yeah. What about you, Crash? Is there anything that maybe you wanted to touch on, bro, that we didn't talk about, or anything you wanted to just chuck into the soup?
No, man. I mean, I think my life is going to get a lot busier. I've got my team. You know, my youth team is kicking off. My daughter's team's kicking off. I just had my son, who's in the under fives. His first practice started today. So my world is full around youth soccer this time of year. So I will do my best to be on these Monday night streams as best as I can. But I'll be going straight from 5 until 8 most nights. It seems like going into the fall. But yeah, man, other than that, I can't complain. I get to play with kids all day long or all afternoon long on the pitch. So I'm going to be a pretty happy camper regardless
Nice.
of what happens.
Nice, my homie. I think I froze. I might be frozen.
No,
Oh
you're
no,
good,
we're
man.
good.
You're back.
Yeah, you're good.
All right. Yeah. Well, I mean, I got just I guess no, nothing really to plug. Let's see. Yeah, man, we're doing Rapids content, Tottenham content over here. I appreciate you guys for stopping by. Oh, dude, there's gonna be 29 of us going to see Heung-min Son take on the Burgundy Boys. I will be wearing my Tottenham kit and a Colorado Rapids hat
Nice.
in the north
Okay.
patio with all the homies. Um, so I'm pretty stoked about that. And apart from that, my homies, just want to say big up to everybody that tunes in. Like I said, either live or on playback. And big up to all the homies who repost this. These two fellas on screen who repost this, and always look out for the channel. And then everybody else that's in the Rapid sphere, big yourself up. There's tons of us, and it's only getting bigger. But yeah, I appreciate everybody for stopping by, my homies. It was a good week, and let's hope for this one to be even better, my homies. Up the fucking pit.
Absolutely.